Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of GlenDronach 18 Allardice. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my review of GlenDronach 18 Allardice. This is my fourth instalment of GlenDronach Core Range reviews, and Allardice is an 18-year-old single malt Scotch whisky. It's named after the founder of the GlenDronach distillery, James Allardice, and unlike others in the range, it's only aged in ex-Oloroso casks. It's 46% ABV, it's natural colour, and this particular example is non-chill filtered, although that may change very soon. This particular bottle is from 2019, so it's potentially 24 years old. When the distillery reopened in 2002, they were calling upon the saved stocks from before the distillery closed in 1996. The distillery wasn't 18 years old again until 2019, and this bottle is from the beginning of 2019, so is potentially 24 years old. Should we find out what it tastes like? On to the whiskey. Right, so before I start nosing and tasting, let's have a look at the colour. I'd say that's like a polished mahogany. It really is dark. Let's start with the nose. Right, so like a number of other GlenDronachs, I do get like an ethanol sort of alcohol note on the nose. It's not unpleasant, but it is noticeable, and that sort of turns into like furniture polish or like beeswax. There's definitely like sort of a chemical sort of combo there, but it's not unpleasant. I'm getting like dark stone fruits, and then that's turning into like flapjack and like golden syrup, and then there's like a buttery biscuit note, which is really quite nice. And then I'm getting those, you know, more dark fruits like dates, and then I'm getting like muscovado, brown sugar, and that reminds me of like a rich fruit cake as a combo. It really is nice. And there's even a hint of like mulled wine and sort of candied orange. Yeah, it really is nice. Let's move on to the palate. Yeah, so the first thing I noticed with this, even at 46%, is it's quite spirity. Some people might prefer to add water to this, but I actually quite like the spirity note that it comes through with to start. And then there's like rich, dark soaked fruits, you know, like raisins and other sort of stone fruits. There's a creamy, like velvety, like unctuous sort of texture to it on the palate, which is nice. Yeah, and it's like the way it coats your mouth, it really is like a really sort of velvety texture. It really is nice. Let's have another sip. Yeah, so I'm getting a little bit of heat, a little bit of pepper, but with that creamy texture, I'm now getting like dark chocolate and even like a hint of like caramel sauce. Really is nice. I think the sweetness and the fruit and the slightly bitter chocolate note and the creaminess, it really does work really well. In terms of finish, slightly tannic, like grape tannins. There's that heat and a little pepper and a little bit of dry wood, and I think that finish is like medium. But in terms of value, this is around £110 retail, and you can find it for around the £100 mark, sometimes a little bit less than that. It definitely has gone up in cost in recent times, but in terms of value, obviously mine potentially is an older whiskey, but going forwards it isn't. It will be an 18-year-old whiskey. But when you compare it to the likes of the other, you know, mainstream whiskey producers, It's expensive for an 18-year-old. Obviously it's matured exclusively in ex-Oloroso sherry casks, but it still is a little expensive when you compare it to its competitors. But it's a very nice dram, don't get me wrong, but I think for me it's probably a touch too expensive to consider purchasing this again. I think if it was around the £80 mark, I probably wouldn't hesitate. But at the £100 mark, I'd probably be looking at potentially, you know, even a 21-year-old whiskey or something, maybe even single cask from another producer. It just is probably a touch too expensive. And yeah, it's a lovely whiskey, but I probably wouldn't buy it again. If it sounds up your street and you are interested nonetheless, I'll put a link in the description, and hopefully I'll see you for the next one. Saunter.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.